Wait until you see what I turned this bucket into. First, I grabbed a multi-tool to cut the edges of the bucket off to make the bucket smooth. Next, I grabbed 5/8 inch wood half rounds and I cut them the length of the bucket. I used 220 grit sandpaper to hand sand the edges and front surface of all the half rounds. I secured the half rounds to the bucket using construction adhesive. For the first one, I checked it for level. Since the bucket is sloped, the half rounds each touched at the top, but were slightly separated at the bottom. I checked every so often to make sure that they were level and they weren't getting too far off. I went all the way around the bucket. I used a wood rasp to narrow down the last one and then I glued it on. I placed 2 rubber bands around the bucket, one at the top and one at the bottom to hold it while drying, and I let the glue set for 12 hours. I added paintable caulking between each wood dowel to make the gaps completely smooth. I wet my finger to smooth out the caulking between each crack. After that dried, I applied primer, let it dry, and then painted it with 2 coats of green paint. For the next part, I used a piece of MDF. I hammered a nail into the center on the back side, and I traced a circle approximately 20 inches in diameter using a string and pencil. I used the jigsaw to cut the circle out, cutting with the bottom side up. I sanded the top and edges and primed it and painted it green to match the other piece. I used a foam roller for painting for a nice smooth finish. And then I used construction adhesive to glue the top onto the bottom part, and I let it dry and added a 3rd coat of paint on the top part only. And that's how I turned a bucket into a beautiful fluted side table. I hope this inspires you to get creative with buckets and see what type of side table you can create.
You're going to want to load up on some cheap dollar store hula hoops this summer after you see this fabulous entertaining hack. I'm laying down 6 21-inch hula hoops on some butcher block paper. Each hoop is getting spray painted in black. I applied several coats to ensure all areas were well covered. Since these hula hoops were covered in some kind of decorative tape, it required a little extra paint to cover the pattern, but it worked out great. I'm going to join 4 hoops to the first hoop, attaching evenly on all 4 sides. I'm attaching the first hoop loosely with a black zip tie, also from the dollar store. 3 more hula hoops are being attached to the first hula hoop, creating an even pattern of 5. A 6th hula hoop is being placed on top of an exterior hula hoop and attached with a zip tie on its left side only. Each hula hoop on each side is being positioned vertically, then attached to the top hoop to create a cube shape. Each zip tie is being trimmed off with scissors to clean the ends up. I'm attaching some lightweight twine to one side of the top hula hoop with double knots. Leaving the roll intact, I'm stringing the twine across the top hula hoop in random places to create a spiderweb effect. The twine is being wrapped twice around the hoop with each stop for added strength. Keeping the twine as tight as possible is the key. To end the twine, I'm leaving lots of extra twine before cutting it off the roll, then knotting and trimming the ends. Now I'm positioning the wood round onto the twine. And you now have yourself a stylish and affordable outdoor table that's lightweight enough to carry wherever you wish. Since it's weather resistant, this little outdoor table is perfect for a porch, patio, or even a lawn party. And who even knew hula hoops could look this chic? You'll want to pick up a pizza pan from the Dollar Tree and a few wooden hangers from Walmart. Using a hacksaw outfitted with a metal blade, I'm scoring the metal hanger part close to the wood, then snapping it right off. Now I'm removing the wooden bars along the bottom of the hangers by simply pulling on them, then prying them completely apart using a screwdriver. To join the hangers together, I'm using 4 small metal L brackets. I'm positioning a bracket off-center to the middle of the hanger with the L shape facing inwards. Because I don't want the wood to split, I'm drilling the start of a pilot hole with a very small drill bit, keeping the hole quite shallow. Now I'm positioning the bracket in place and screwing it to the hanger by using short drill pumps. Next, I'm joining 2 hangers together with another L bracket. Now I'm joining them together as one. I'm flipping the hangers over so the tips are sitting on the table. This time I'm attaching all the new brackets to the other half of the hanger tops so I don't run into the previous screws. Next, I'm penciling in pilot holes, drilling, then attaching another L bracket positioned so the part sticking up can connect to another hanger. Positioning them together, I'm attaching the hanger sets to each other. Since there's some play in the legs, I'm slightly adjusting them to accommodate a pizza pan on top. Removing the pan, I'm pre-drilling pilot holes into all 4 hanger tops. Now the pan is being placed on top of the legs, matching pan holes to the drilled leg holes, then attaching them together with screws. And the result is a super versatile piece that doubles either as a plant stand or side table or whatever you wish. The metal top gives the piece an industrial vibe, which meshes so well with the wooden hanger legs. I hope this inspires you to repurpose a few affordable wooden hangers and a pizza pan in a fun and creative way of your own.
For today's project, we're going to head down to our local nursery and pick up some paver edges. We're going to need 4 of them to start with this project, but we're going to lay out 2 to begin with. Now, on these pavers, we need to make sure to see what kind we get. Some of them have an edge on them and others are concave. Whatever side you choose though, make sure they both match when you're putting them together. Next, we got to make sure we adhere them with some good liquid nails. What we do is when we get it, go ahead and squeeze out a little glue to make sure it's working, and then it's back to the pavers. Now we want to put a liberal amount on both sides. Don't go easy on this. The more you put, the better, because the pavers are very rough and that glue is going to fill the inside. Once we do it, we're going to turn it up on its edge and we're going to stick 2 of the pavers together, making sure they match. The weight from the pavers themselves will help out and hold it together. You also might get some glue that squeezes out, but that's okay. You're just going to take a popsicle stick and you can just clean those off. If you use a towel, it's probably going to smear it all over and it's not going to look good on that rough surface. Once you get those 2 together and you let it dry a couple hours, you can lay it flat. We're then going to grab our 3rd paver and we're going to put another bead of glue on top. Make sure you put plenty on there because it's going to squeeze through on that rough surface. Once you do that, you're going to put it right down the middle of the 2 pavers that you did. You want to make sure you also line it up as you're tilting it over, because if you get glue in the paver, it's hard to clean up. So once you get that on and let that dry, turn those 3 over again. Make sure you're giving a couple hours so it holds together. And we're going to again put some glue on the edge of that paver and put it in place. As you can see, I'm forming a cross with these pavers with the same edges pointing towards the same sides. That's very key. Now we got the top of our project right here. This one's bigger than the pavers and it looks good. Once it's all glued up, I'm going to take it outside, set it up, and I'm going to run a bead of glue down each edge on top. And then I'm going to take my top paver, put it on top right there. Just the weight alone from that paper will hold it in place. I'm going to set a chair out and look at this. Absolutely looks amazing. It's a place that can hold your drinks while you're sitting outside. But if that's not good enough for you, I got another secret. It's actually going to be strong enough to hold a potted plant. And the great thing about this is it's waterproof. It's made of concrete and it's outside. And if you ever feel inspired, you can also paint these papers if you want, choosing your favorite color. I hope this inspired you to take your project from paver to furniture and give it a try.
Pick up some hardware cloth and river rock to create this super unique idea. While wearing safety gloves, I'm rolling out some 1/4-inch hardware cloth, then marking a height of 22 inches with a clothespin. Now I'm measuring the length of the plate, tripling that number to 39 inches. Using wire snips, I'm cutting the hardware cloth along the 2 measurements, then rolling up the cut wire into a tube shape. Now I'm using zip ties to join the tube shape together permanently. I'm placing them at each end and along the center of the tube, then trimming off the excess. With the tube now standing straight up, I'm placing a cut mesh square on top of the opening. Now I'm using the wires to attach the sheet to the tube. Now I'm trimming down the sheet to the shape of the tube, then using the wire snips to bend the cut wires slightly downward for safety reasons. I'm now gathering some clean river rock from a nearby flower bed, choosing the largest rocks I can find. Turning the wire tube open side up, I'm filling it about 1/4 ways up with the rocks to create a substantial base. For a final touch, I'm positioning the plate on top to close off the tube, which leaves you with a super cool, nature-inspired side table that can display anything you wish. I love the rustic industrial vibe the river rock and wooden plate took on. However, you can also dress it up with white decorative rock, teamed up with a sleek black plate on top. The best part is you get to choose your look. This unique side table is a fun way to bring the outdoors in with your decorating while displaying nature's best. And the plastic plate is also waterproof, which is perfect for serving up your favorite beverages indoors or out.
For today's project, we're going to head down to our local Michael's. There we're going to grab 4 wood crates. The first part of this project is putting on some stain. You can choose to do paint, but stain is such a wonderful coating for raw wood, just like these crates. Make sure when you're putting the stain on, not to put it too thick and get all the sides. Once you got it put on, take a towel or a rag and wipe off the excess. It brings out the wonderful color. We need to have this done to 4 of these crates. Look how beautiful they are. Now, here's where we start setting it up. We want to use glue because glue is so strong when it dries. We're going to take 2 crates. The first one is going to lay down on its top, just like this, and it's going to be upside down. We're going to take the glue and put it halfway down the crate. Once we get the glue on, we want to spread it though. This is non-toxic. It's not a big deal just to use your finger and spread it out. You don't want to leave it in just a line. Leave the glue also away from the edges so it doesn't spill over when you put the other crate on. Take that first one and lay it right on top of the one that you put the glue on. Line it up right on the edge, just like this. Once you get it, you can use screws, or I use little tiny 1-inch brad nails to hold it in place. You're going to want to do these to the other 2 that you have left over. These are going to form 2 L shapes. Get this put on, and again, use the brad nails and put them in place. Now, once those are drying, we're going to take little strips of wood. I use little Jenga pieces. I use 2 on this side and 2 on the other. We're going to set those down from the top of the crate and glue those on. Just right there along the edge. That makes it a great straight line. Now it's time to join the 2 L's together. So you're going to take the top part of this L and lay out the glue. Again, you want to make sure you do spread it around, keeping it away from right where the edges are. You can see the faint lines that I put that marked out where the crate was going to sit. Take the 2 halves with the glued on the bottom and you're going to join them together. Line them up, and you're going to barely brad nail those in or use a screw gun to put them in. Now it's time to make the legs 6 inches long, and I'm going to use 2x2 pieces of wood. But I've got a drill in the middle. I didn't want to just use regular screws, so I take a level or a ruler and you mark right across the edges on the corners there, and that gets you the perfect center. I'm going to use a drill bit with a 1/4-inch drill and drill all the way through down about 2 or 3 inches. Clear out any of the sawdust. You don't want any debris left inside. Now, this is called an insert right here. It's a 1/4-inch insert. Just use an Allen wrench and you're going to start getting it ready to put on in. It's a little difficult in the beginning, but once you get it, it goes in. Once you get it tight to the top, then stain it and it's going to look great. On the bottom of our new table, we're going to drill out the 1/4-inch drill bit. Just put it right there, and then we'll take the bolt and we're going to put it through, and it's dark so it matches our stain, and then start screwing it onto the leg. That makes these legs removable if you need to. Just go ahead and get it tight. Remember where we put the Jenga pieces in? We're going to drop a piece of wood there and decorate our table. And it just turned out amazing. You can make this any way you want. It's your project, and make it just absolutely beautiful. I think this project turned out great, and I hope that inspired you to make your own DIY wood crate coffee table.
Start with 4 foam wreath rounds from Dollar Tree and paint them white with chalk paint or spray paint. Glue 3 of the foam wreath rounds together with hot glue. Take stone spray paint and cover a stack of 3 and a stack of 2 foam rounds. Take 2 wood hoops and 1 metal hoop. Spray paint them white. Then use the stone spray paint after. Take a pizza pan and paint it white. Let it dry. Then use the stone spray paint after. Attach the hoops together with hot glue to create a 3D sphere. Use wood beads and hot glue them to secure the attachment to the foam rounds. Place the sphere on the foam stack. Cut 2 crevices in the foam to place the metal hoop. Then secure with hot glue. Place the 2 leftover foam rounds on the back of the pizza pan and secure with hot glue. Use rope and hot glue to reinforce the placement of hoops around the circumference of the circle. There you have it, an inexpensive way to create your own modern faux stone side table for your home. I hope this inspired you to try this DIY decor project. Thank you for watching Home Talk, and see you next time.
Stone side tables are definitely beautiful, but they're typically very expensive. We can get around that with this little DIY trick. I grabbed 3 pieces of terrazzo stone. I added glue to one side and then put 2 pieces together in a T shape. After that, I added more liquid adhesive to the top and then added the top piece right on top of the T to create the top of my table. I made sure to face all the prettiest sides of the stone toward me so that I could see it when using my piece. I let the glue dry for several hours so that it would be nice and firm, and then put my table into place, decorated it, and was able to enjoy it right away.